Hello, I'm Camille Kirksey, the founder of World Homeschoolers Day, the only holiday that celebrates homeschoolers worldwide. This year, the holiday offers free events and giveaways brought to you by our generous sponsors, one of whom you're going to meet right now. I'd like to welcome Kristin from Hewitt Learning, and she's going to share with us all about what they do. Kristin, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. I'm so glad to have this time to talk with you.
Thank you. So, can you just introduce yourself and let us know what you do over at Hewitt Learning?
Absolutely. I am the Director of Educational Services at Hewitt and kind of the Chief Operations Officer. I kind of do a little bit of everything. We're a small organization, so it's all hands on deck. We, as an organization, do several things. Our mission is really to provide educational resources. And so we do that through curriculum, through programs. Um, so we have several different curriculums that we'll get into, like lightning lit, pass test, that sort of thing. Or excuse me, that's a test, the assessment. And we also have programs like the National Innovator Challenge. And so our goal really is to help people of all ages better understand themselves, others, and the world around them as best as we can.
So, tell us a little bit more about those products and services you just mentioned.
Yeah, Lightning Lit is an award-winning literature-based curriculum that is first through 12th grade. It's won awards for parents, some of their favorite curriculum over the years. We are also have recently developed the MC Detective Agency. It's a comic book series designed to teach college level chemistry to kids 8 and up. So it doesn't matter if you're 8 or 108. We've got, you can start learning chemistry at the college level. It's a great series. Um, we have unit studies as well, things like that. So our curriculum branch, we also do the PASS test. It's a standardized test designed for homeschoolers and asynchronous learners. So kids get to test at their level rather than just what their age dictates. And it meets a lot of states' requirements. And then we also have programs like the National Innovator Challenge, where kids from across the nation get to showcase their ideas, apps, prototypes, and have a chance at opportunities and awards. So a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what's your favorite product or service that you offer?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think at the moment, I would have to say the MC Detective Agency. Right now, it's just so unique and so creative. And I mean, you got Poppy and Ray, who are based off of polonium and radium, going on these adventures through time. And kids get to jump into the shower and play Twister on a table of elements, and it's just very hands-on and very creative. I love that. And we actually just got signed a contract to be able to bring Math It to back into publication. And I grew up playing Math It, and I'm a very much a STEM person, and so I'm really excited about being able to kind of branch out into that as well. So I think those are my two favorites at the moment.
Awesome. So, what does Hewitt Learning love about serving the homeschooling community?
I think it's the uniqueness of each child. Um, every kid is has their own learning differences, has their own strengths, their own weaknesses, their own experiences. And in a standard school, you don't get the chance to be able to dive into what kids need and what helps them excel. And homeschooling really does that. And for us to be able to empower parents, empower co-op teachers to be able to meet the needs of the individual kids, I think that is just, I know, I think that's why we do it. Just the that way to be able to yeah, empower parents to meet their kids' needs.
Yeah,
I think
that's what
that's the favorite part.
homeschooling is very much about, whether you use a curriculum or not. So, that's a really good,
Exactly.
a good
Yep.
support for parents and kids. Absolutely. So, what advice would you give homeschoolers who are looking for testing or chemistry options or things like that that you offer there?
I think right along with what we were just talking about, that there's no one size fits all, that each kid is different. And so you've got to take the time to figure out what your kid or your family, because sometimes one kid needs one thing and another kid needs something else. And so coming up with something that works for your family as well as each individual kid is really, really critical. And so one thing that not many people may know about Hewitt is that we're a nonprofit. And so we our goal isn't to make money off of people. Our goal really is to get those educational resources out there. And so if we don't have something that serves your kid, we'll help you find it. Like you can buy products from us, you can buy products from somebody else, you can use our programs, you can use somebody else's programs. We really want you to take the time that it takes to figure out. And if what you're using doesn't work, change it. Feel free. Absolutely feel free to change it, because something may work for a season and then stop working. And so take into account not just the unique needs of the kid, but the timing and the of the family and what's going on in those circumstances. I think so. Whether it's the pass test that accommodates for that, if you need something for state testing that meets the needs of your kid who's maybe at 8th grade level in reading and 2nd grade level in math, find something that meets those kids' needs. That would be my advice.
Yeah, that's great. It's veteran advice that so many people need. And sometimes you need that reminder, not just the beginners. Sometimes you need to remember.
I get so locked into curriculum. Sometimes it's like, I bought this, I have to finish this, we have to go through it. And it's like, oh, nope. It's okay. This isn't working right now. It's okay to change. It's okay to adapt. It's okay to tweak. So I know, like with our Lightning Lit product, some families use it straight out of the box. Some families just love the books and just do the literature portions and do something else for some of the other parts. And so it's perfectly okay to adapt the curriculum to your kids and your family's needs. Curriculum is there to serve the family and the kid, not the other way around.
Absolutely. Well put. So you mentioned being a resource for parents. What are some other ways that your companies really tries to help homeschoolers?
I think the curriculum and those resources is one of those primary ways, trying to develop things that are accessible, that are enjoyable, things like that, to help kids grow and learn and be exposed to different aspects of life. The assessments are another way. So some parents buy things like the pass test just to be able to understand better where their kids are, where their holes are, where needs to fill. Others are doing it because they have to do state requirements, and so they're going to meet the state requirement. And so being able to provide those services for those families, whether they're doing it for their own benefit or their benefit to meet state requirements, either way, we do that. And then the opportunities, we want to be able to bring opportunities to homeschoolers that may not have always been there. So kids in public schools sometimes get access to things like the Invention Convention, things like that have those programs. And so we want to start bringing those sort of things to the homeschoolers and say, hey, you guys can do this too. You can absolutely. So we partnered with different organizations, and we've got a couple of partnerships in the works as well to be able to say, hey, let's get this as a way for homeschoolers to have access to these resources, these opportunities that public schoolers have had. And so that's kind of the ways we're trying to bring those resources to the homeschooling world.
Yeah, that's so key. We like to think that we have the advantage over a public school or private school, but sometimes they do have a lot more access to than what we have. Obviously, we pay taxes and we have access, but it's different. So we know,
It's different.
Yeah. So it is
Well, like,
great to be able to bring
yeah,
in homeschoolers.
it's like with the National Innovator Challenge. The whole goal is to be able to make it accessible to everybody, because not everybody has the state funded programs. And so, or the access to raise money to be able to travel to an in-person conference. And so how can we use the resources and the technology of today to say, hey, let's make this accessible, whether you can afford to travel, whether you can't. We want to bring this to where every kid has a chance to be able to do it. So whatever program it is, we really want to make those accessible wherever the kid is.
Yeah, you're being a bridge, basically.
Exactly. I like that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So you mentioned earlier about being a nonprofit. That's something
Mhm.
that most homeschoolers know. Would you like to tell us more about that, or is there something else that you think the audience would like to know about you?
Yeah. No, it's with being a nonprofit, it's one of those fine lines of, we're here to serve. You got to make enough money to survive. You got to be able to get funding,
Hmm.
that sort of thing. You have to cover costs, to the cost to produce the materials. Um, but we really are that mission driven, wanting to get the resources out there. And so it's really, we were founded as a research foundation actually in the 1960s, and in the kind of that forefront of trying to verify that, hey, homeschooling is a legitimate thing. It is really good for kids, given the right circumstances, the right support, all the rest of it. And so that the organization has shifted and changed. It's, times have changed over the years, but that mission of wanting to be able to um, help home learners has never changed. Like that part of it is really who we are, and wanting to make those resources out there for kids.
And that's really different, a different approach to being a homeschooling business.
Mhm.
Because, when it's business, it's about profit. But
Right.
obviously, that is not your mission, and that's not what you're doing, and that's not
Exactly.
your point. Um, so, why does having diverse and inclusive products and services matter?
It matters because that is how we sharpen each other. That is how we learn. That is how we grow. Um, every person, regardless of background, culture, identity, experience, belief, everyone really deserves to have access to high quality educational products that reflect both their experiences, their values. I really appreciate Amber O'Neill's Johnson's perspective of the windows and mirrors. Like, I really like that we need to be able to both see our values reflected and be able to see that outside world and see other cultures. Because how are we going to learn if we're not interacting with people with different beliefs, different values, different, how can we know that this, that be able to be challenged? And ultimately it really leads to a better outcome for individuals, for society as a whole, when we're interacting and communicating and saying, hey, this is what I believe, this is what you believe, great, let's talk, let's discuss, let's that diversity and being able to include voices from all different cultures, backgrounds, identities, um, really is what makes us better as a community. And we lose something if we take that away.
Absolutely. I agree 100%, 1000%. So, what inspires Hewitt Learning to do what it does?
I would say the joy of learning, the joy of learning and creativity. Education is really a lifelong pursuit. The day you stop learning is the day you die. If you're not learning, yeah, what's the point?
Right. What are you doing?
And what are you doing?
Right.
And so, with that, going back to that uniqueness of each individual learner and each person's ability to learn and grow in their own way, um, being able to meet those needs in the best way we can and be able to get those inclusive, accessible educational resources to all students. Like, that's what drives us. That's what inspires us. We're dedicated to be able to the best of our abilities, create those resources and get them out there, and really help kids develop a love of learning. I mean, if I used to teach math at a college level, and I used to say, if I can take a student at the beginning of the semester and make them just a little less scared of math by the end of the semester, I've succeeded. That's kind of that. I just want to move them a little step closer, each person, each kid, a little step closer to enjoying learning, to being able to realize that mistakes are good as long as we learn from them. That we don't have to be afraid of them. We can step in, and that's how creativity. I mean, that's how the chocolate chip cookie was invented, was because somebody made a mistake. And
Mhm.
where would we be today without somebody making a mistake? And so, yeah, just that being able to create those resources for kids, that's what inspires us and keeps us going.
Awesome. So, you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, but what can people expect next from Hewitt Learning?
We're looking at growth realistically, growth in programs like the National Innovator Challenge. We're partnering with different organizations and different invention programs to help grow it, as well as co-ops and different places. We've got a couple of different programs, different partnerships that we're talking with to be able to get access to those resources, programs like Math-It, to be able to continue to grow. That's kind of where we're headed, is trying to be able to get more and more of those resources out here, out into the world. So.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like for the audience to know?
I just want to say I love the World Homeschoolers Day. It's just that going back to what we said earlier about the everybody's different, everybody's unique, everybody's um, that whole thing, being able to recognize all the different learning styles across the world, and that we are not alone in this, that we are a world of homeschoolers with a variety of backgrounds, a variety of everything. I really appreciate you putting this together.
Thank you so much. So where can our audience find you online?
www.hewittlearning.org is our main site. You can get to the National Innovator Challenge through that, or you can just go directly to nationalinnovatorchallenge.org as well.
So. Nice. So thanks, Kristin, for sharing with us today and for being a 2023 World Homeschoolers Day sponsor.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.